This is a presentation on how to use PowerPoint to record presentations without the need for additional software. So it's a straightforward approach to recording PowerPoint presentations. The target audience for this presentation is primarily industrial design and product design innovation students at IT Carlow, who will be using this technique to present their designs at end of year to set themselves up for the defense of their designs. So this is a recording primarily focused on PowerPoint, and recorded PowerPoint presentations are distinct and different from full-blown screencasting. So recorded presentations are contained within PowerPoint. So additional narration and recording of mouse movements is included, so we can use our pointer as is demonstrated here, and we can actually apply annotation to the slides. But that's it, that's the limit. Playback is available within the PowerPoint environment, so the person receiving the presentation doesn't need anything additional to PowerPoint either, but it can be exported to external video formats, which I'll cover later on in the presentation. And the most widely used, or the one with the greatest uptake, is the MP4 format for video. Screencasting is a much broader term, a larger umbrella, and screencasting may involve a mix of presentation, demonstrations of other software, or camera recordings such as SolidWorks live demos, which we've done in the past couple of weeks, sketch work, so using overhead cameras to record physical sketch work, and linking into external video, external animations, and linking into other applications that we might be using on the computer and demonstrating at that time. So the pros and cons of this are, the pros are that it's very straightforward. It's all contained within the PowerPoint environment, so no additional software is used. It doesn't use any online services, so your data isn't going anywhere else. It's all contained within your own application, and it provides a distraction-free presentation format, as opposed to screencasting, which sometimes flicks around between different environments and between different screens. So this provides a very straightforward and distraction-free presentation format. The cons are it lacks flexibility, so we don't have the plethora of tools that you have in other screencasting softwares, and it's feature limited. This again can be a pro or a con, because these features can often be distracting and increase the learning curve associated with trying to get up to speed with doing the recordings. And it's contained within the PowerPoint environment, so we can't shell out to any external application or external screens. Again, a pro and a con. So screencasting, like I say, is out with the scope of this presentation. But just as a quick run through, screencasting software, really we can look at it dividing up into a couple of different categories. If we look at the fully featured high-end category, there's software like Camtasia, which is relatively expensive, but it's fully featured, includes video editing, and you can then produce, production quality screencasts. Stepping down from that, again, still a commercial product, but at a much lower cost. There are a range of products, and I just pick out an example here, which is Screencast-O-Matic, which has a limited free version, but even its premium version is a low-cost version. But again, it's on a software as a service model, so there's an ongoing fee. It requires online use, but it's easy to use, though slightly feature limited by comparison with the fully blown higher end screencasting softwares. There are also some very solid open source alternatives, OBS being the one demonstrated here with this image, and that is open source, which means it's fully free. It's very fully featured, It offers an awful lot of capability, and but some of this software has a slightly steeper learning curve, and that has to do with maybe software design to some degree, but also the fact that it has a higher levels of feature than the basic or entry level packages. The other applications or the other type of screencasting capabilities come built into operating systems. So for instance, with Windows, the Windows Game Center has a built-in screen recording and screencasting capability. It's built into the Game Center. It's not entirely straightforward to access. It's certainly not intuitive how you access it, but it does have the advantage of being blindingly fast, which is why it gets used for game recording and screencasting, where high frame rates are at a premium. So stepping on to how we're going to record our presentation. So how to record your presentation. First of all, it's very important to design, plan and write your presentation. So there's no substitute for having a well-designed presentation that's communicating effectively with your audience. On-screen notes here can be particularly useful because you're not trying to break away from the screen that you're looking at, and it's particularly useful if you choose to record your camera from the webcam and it avoids you breaking eye contact with the screen you're presenting to. Practice your timings and gestures in the same ways you would when practicing for an in-person presentation, and on-screen elements can be recorded. For instance, we spoke earlier about the use of the laser pointer and the use of highlighting or underlining of the text within our application. And then we go on to recording our presentation. Once we've practiced all that, we can go on to recording our presentation, which I'm now going to show in the following slides. Okay, so for this you will need a good quality microphone to get the sound quality and avoid hiss and etc., particularly as we're probably not going to post-process this. A webcam for video if required, so there is video recording capability and it will do a picture-in-picture for you. And a quiet environment in which to record, often the most challenging element to get with this type of situation, and some degree of practice. Okay, so to start your recording, we go to our slideshow tab, which is highlighted here. So there's our slideshow tab. Open up that slideshow tab when we're ready to go. And on that slideshow tab, we want to go to record, to record our slideshow and record from the beginning. So we're going to record our slideshow from the beginning. This then presents us with this screen. So this presents us with this screen. And this screen is set up, or what's been shown here is a two-screen setup where we have the presentation screen, or the screen to the presenter is here, and the screen that the viewer will see is here. And it's this one that is recorded. So this is the screen that is recorded. So anything that's appearing on this screen gets recorded into your presentation. We can see here, this is an example, this is where the picture-in-picture can be, and we can turn on and off our microphone and our webcam on this location. Highlighters and pointers are available here. So we can do things like highlighting, and then we can later rub them out to clarify our presentation. And if you're doing a presentation to camera, you can have your notes appear in this section here, which can be very useful to avoid breaking eye line when doing that presentation to camera, that the notes your presentation notes are being presented to you right there in the eye line of where your webcam is. Your webcam is typically situated just here above your screen. So it's nice to be able to do that presentation, read your notes without breaking off. It's almost like an auto cue. Okay, so when we're ready then, we press our record. It will count you in, 3, 2, 1, count in, and then you start recording. The presentation is capable of presenting advanced features such as animations. So here is an example of an animation which is a 3D model, and the 3D model is imported as an OBJ, but it will import any number of 3D model formats, and here it's just stepping through a basic animation and fade out. So we can present our animations within the software, and we can also do video within the presentation. Slide transitions as well are also captured. So if you've got some nice sweeps and some slide transitions between slides, they're also captured and played back within the software. So once we have a recording in place, we can then post-process it. So we have options at this point. We can post-process it, export it and post-process it, or we can just share the presentation directly. So once we save our presentation, we can save it directly, and the narration gets saved into the file. Once the user steps through that and plays the presentation, then the narration gets played back within that presentation. So the narration and timing gets played back within the presentation. This requires the receiver to know that they must play the presentation and to know how to play the presentation. The other option is to export the video. So we go into our file menu, and in our file menu we have an option to export here. So once we've decided to export, it then presents us with these options here, and create a PDF, export as a PDF XPS document, but also then create a video. And once you've recorded a presentation and once you've set narration to your slides, you are offered this option here of using recorded timings and narrations. In fact, you can activate it from this point, but it's better to have done all your recordings and narrations beforehand and then be able to output your video. In this case, what I have highlighted is outputting at 720p, which is the HD, and it refers to as a medium file size and moderate quality. But I would consider using the standard, which is the step below this, as otherwise the HD files and above result in very large file sizes. It can record very high level, very ultra HD quality, but those files are going to get very, very large. Once we've exported that, we then have the option to edit if required. And again, software or video editing is beyond the scope of this presentation, but there are editors built into Windows 10, to Mac OS, and to many Linux distributions. There's video editors built in that are more than capable of doing straightforward editing activities such as cropping or clipping the video. If you want to do something more advanced than that, then you're into the likes of dedicated video editors, such as those that exist in the Adobe suite or in packages like Blender or After Effects and other video editing packages. So that's the process. so it's not very complex. There are, however, some points to watch. One point is don't talk over your transitions. Each slide has the audio associated. The audio is connected with each slide, so leave a gap for your transitions. So this has a kind of a negative effect insofar as it breaks flow, natural flow between one slide and the next. It has a tremendous positive effect, however, because each slide is associated with the narration on that slide. It means that you can stop and record and clear the recording for just that one slide. So if you make a mistake on just one slide, just towards the end of your presentation, and you fluff it, it means you don't lose the whole recording that you've done to date. You can just clear that one slide, which is a big advantage. And then use of the pointer. Use the pointer. The control and left mouse button activates the pointer, but be careful not to click advance your slide by accident. So that's it. That's the overall recording of the presentation. You should now have a file that you can save with that recorded audio in place to either save and share as a dedicated file, or to go on and export as an MP4 file, sharing your presentation. So that's it. I hope that was useful, and we'll conclude it there. Thank you very much.